good afternoon, and good morning, because somewhere around the world, that's what time it is. I should be having my friend Owen from InfoWars on in about half an hour. I was going to start the show a half an hour from now, but I seen shout out to you. Let me make sure. Seen I seen Lisa Clemens in the chat, so I just decided to start the show. We're gonna critique some news, break some news down, and then get my brother on the show in about half an hour from right now. So let me do this. Get this ready. Hey, how you doing, Lisa? Yeah, let me get these things queued up. And before we get into that, let's get into this. Please do remember that the New Right Party channel and the New Red Party show is sponsored by patriots like you. And as long as you're sending these donations, it allows me to create the content that will continue to make these motherfuckers sick. As you were.
Versus the family and my family entertainment and his team no sleep. Flossy high and yeah we made it. The haters keep on hating on the songs that we be making, and I heard they want my soul Illuminati wanna take it. Versus the family and my family entertainment and his team no sleep. Flossy high and yeah we made it. The haters keep on hating on the songs that we be making, and I heard they want my soul Illuminati wanna take it.
CEO, bullshit, paying for the pussy, I endorse it, riding through the city, that's my all.
Hey, how's everybody in the building? I want to thank everybody for saying that they hope that I feel better. It's appreciated. I just really appreciate it. So we're gonna get into this news, and we're gonna break some fucking news, because that's what the fuck we're gonna do here. I said break some news. It sound like the brother. We're gonna break down some news, because that's what we do on this show.
World. Here's what we come up with. If you had to boil down the Democratic Party's long-term goals to the most important...
You can go to Twitch if you enjoy watching games. I have been busting ass in Red Dead Redemption 2 online on Twitch. You just type in the New Right Party. I will have other games and other stuff up too. That's only if you're in gaming. If you're in gaming, you find me on Twitch, the New Right Party.
Important goals. The first would be this, and it's
we might be taking this show to Twitch too, so I'll be letting you know.
Obvious. The federal government ought to cover the essentials of life for most people. Healthcare, college, housing, food, in some cases a guaranteed basic income. That's the program the Democrats espouse. Another word for it might be socialism. The party's other long-term goal is the elimination of meaningful restrictions on immigration into this country. Get rid of ICE, accept most refugees, give citizenship to tens of millions of people here illegally. In other words, open borders. So those are the Democrats' main priorities: a massive social welfare state and millions of new citizens from the third world. Nobody is hiding that. We're not making it up. They're saying it out loud. The problem is that those two goals conflict with each other. You can either admit the world's poor into your country, or you can give your own people more free stuff. But you can't do both. The math doesn't work. Socialism with open borders is impossible. It has never worked, and it never will work. Anyone who thinks about that for about a minute understands it. So the idea is fatally flawed. The question is, how do you sell a program that can never actually work? Well, you lie about it. You pretend that what's obviously true isn't true at all, and you're evil for thinking otherwise. And of course, that's exactly what they're doing now. Watch DNC spokesman Jim Acosta from earlier this month scold the president for daring to suggest that migrants from the imaginary caravan, should it actually exist, might try to hop the U.S. border.
Your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
That's true. But they weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood.
They're not going to be doing that, says Democratic flack Jim Acosta. Turns out that's precisely what they're going to be doing, and just did over the weekend. American authorities had to shut down the border crossing at San Ysidro, California, right next to San Diego, after about 1,000 people tried to rush the crossing. Watch. So that's what the DNC channels told us was never going to happen. And of course, it did happen, and it was bad. Mexican riot police and U.S. border agents both came under attack from the mob, which threw rocks at them. With no meaningful wall along the borders, authorities used tear gas to disperse the crowd. Now, there's fairly recent precedent for doing that. In 2013, a group of about 100 people tried to rush the very same border crossing at San Ysidro. American authorities forced them back with pepper spray. Barack Obama was president at the time, and the incident passed with little notice. Just 5 years later, there is a new president and an entirely different standard. The left erupted.
Because the left has created an era of, if you're white in this country and you open your mouth to say something and you dislike about somebody who's black, you're a racist. If you're black and you say something about somebody who's black that you don't like, you're a sellout, you're an Uncle Tom, you're a coon, you're a hater. That's the reason why it's hard for the current president to destroy this fucker Barack Obama. That's the reason why you don't see him telling you, fuck that, his birth certificate is fucking fake and I know it. Because if he come out, they're going to be like that birthday incident. Why do you think they kept even naming the birthday incident after he even apologized for it? This is before he became president and he found out that it's in fact a lie. He knows everything now. I mean, of course he doesn't know everything, but he knows everything. He's not an idiot. The man's been putting two and two together for a very fucking long time. And it's to sit here and think that the politicians that's been in office before him will be smart enough to fool him and the American people, man. Y'all got to be really out your minds, man.
At these pictures of the tear gas and accused the administration of moral atrocities. Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz got so worked up, he suggested that American authorities had committed a war crime by using illegal chemical weapons. Keep in mind, these same so-called chemical weapons are used.
Somebody just said Charlie Brown is racist. Somebody just said that? Because in this house, we love Charlie Brown. Don't we love Charlie Brown, baby?
Yeah, we don't watch.
You see that? You see how I just went in here just now, just pulled the Charlie Brown C's up just now? We love Charlie Brown in this house. Okay? Charlie Brown get love in this house. Charlie Brown ain't racist. Okay? What is you talking about? He got a dirty ass homeboy who white and he dirty, don't even take baths. He keep the same blanket with him all the time. So there's all type of fucked up shit they could be trying to say and everything else about that shit, man. Charlie Brown is the truth. Fuck out of here. We not with that shit. And women, children, babies, and even bitches love Snoopy.
Used against unruly American citizens all the time, and nobody cares. But those weren't American citizens you just saw getting tear gassed over the weekend. They were migrants. They were holy men on a sacred pilgrimage north. What happened to them was inexcusable. Cue the moral outrage.
Here we look at children being subjected to tear gas. That's the United States causing that. That's outrageous.
We have seen the images of the children and the women, and there has got to be a pragmatic and compassionate answer.
And no one is saying, why is these bitches bringing their children and trying to rush a border and do that shit illegally? No one is blaming the motherfuckers who are doing it. Listen to me, America. Listen to me, America. No one is blaming the motherfuckers that are doing it, that are... Listen, no one can throw tear gas at anybody if they're not trying to illegally cross the fucking border. This is the shit I'm talking about.
Answer here that does not involve tear gassing children. That is not who America is.
How was it? Did you like
That's not what America is, declares some random blowhard on CNN who has somehow been deputized to lecture you about what America is. On the left, America is always one thing for sure, in every case, wrong. Watch as this MSNBC guest suggests that federal Border Patrol agents must have been lying about being attacked with rocks.
There's also questions whether or not anyone actually threw rocks yesterday. NPR was reporting that actually it was relatively peaceful.
Yep, relatively peaceful, except for this scene, which somehow didn't make it into many news reports.
Good job.
So, well, yes, it turns out they were, in fact, throwing rocks, but according to a lot of the analysis you may have seen today, it was in a peaceful way. Gentle rock throwing, really more tossing than throwing, playful, actually. Now, here's a different perspective. This is from someone who was actually there in San Ysidro, and in contrast to the people you just saw, is not a professional propagandist.
I kind of challenged that this was a peaceful protest, or that the majority of these people were claiming asylum. We ended up making about 42 arrests. Only 8 of those were females, and there were only a few children involved. The vast majority of the people we're dealing with are adult males. One of the groups that I watched, one of the groups that actually several of them were arrested, they passed 10 or 15 marked Border Patrol units walking east to west, or west to east, I'm sorry. Numerous uniformed personnel as they were chanting, waving a Honduran flag, and throwing rocks at the agents. If they were truly asylum seekers, they would have just walked up with their hands up and surrendered, and that did not take place. What I find unconscionable is that people would intentionally take children into this situation. What we saw over and over yesterday was that the group, the caravan, as we call them, would push women and children towards the front and then begin basically rocking our agents.
So there you have it. We'll let you reach your own conclusions about who is telling the truth about what's happening right now on our southern border. Check the video before you make up your mind. But as you ponder it, step back and ask yourself some more fundamental questions. Is there a natural limit to this kind of immigration? How many resources does America really have to share with the rest of the world? Are we as rich as we assume we are?
Nope.
Are you?
Nope.
How many poor people can we realistically accept before we're not that rich at all, but increasingly resemble the countries from which these people are fleeing? And by the way, if accepting more poor people really makes you more prosperous, then what exactly has happened in California over the past 30 years, which despite record levels of immigration is poorer than ever? Now, it's possible there are good answers to these questions, logical answers. On the other hand, if there are answers, why is the left trying to prevent you from asking the questions? David Tafuri is a lawyer and former Obama campaign advisor who joins us today. David, thanks a lot for coming on. So before we get to the broader questions about where the country's going and what we can absorb, a few questions about what happened over the weekend. I've watched all day as Americans have defended foreign citizens who attacked American border agents and suggested that somehow the Americans are in the wrong when foreigners waving foreign flags throw rocks at them.
It's simple. This is the New World Order. That's their puppets. Their puppets are doing it on purpose. They're doing it because they're being told to do so. They all are getting the same fucking script. They're all acting like they're all appalled and all upset about what's happening. But no one is talking about that. These individuals are putting themselves in this predicament. Shit wouldn't happen to these motherfuckers if they wasn't doing this shit in the first place. No one would be able to throw tear gas at anybody in Honduras, in Ecuador, in Mexico. No American could. They'd be in jail. So the only reason why that's happening is because they put themselves in that position. What kind of mother would take their children and put their children in harm's way? No real mother would do that. No real mother would do that. I guess all of them are the same. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to make sure that I have Owen on board as far as Skype is concerned. I want to make sure we get him on tonight. So we need to talk real shit. And I'm kind of done with the Tucker acting surprised as if he doesn't know that there is a new world order. I'm pretty sure he understands this. He's calling them globalists, elitists, all of this shit that he's calling them.
How does that work?
Well, you showed some compelling footage, and I think both sides of this debate need to take a deep breath and think about their positions. So I agree with you, remember, that we have the right to control our border and decide who gets in. On the other side, we also have to use rule of law when we process people who do have the right to apply for political asylum under the laws of our country and have the right to do that and while being in a peaceful place and not under the economic and serious security situation that they face in Honduras. And now there's a compromise. Let me tell you what the proper compromise is.
But hold on, let's just address the facts of this case just for a second. If they were applying for asylum, then why did they rush the border crossing? Is that what asylum application looks like?
Well, not all of them are probably going to meet the standard for asylum. Clearly.
But would you say that someone who waves the flag of a foreign country as he rushes your border station is eligible for asylum?
Well, I don't understand why they would be holding their flag when they're running from that country. So that's a good point. But
what if they rush but what if they try and bum rush the border agents? Doesn't that immediately disqualify them?
Well, we both agree that they have no right to bum rush our border. And we have the right to use force, not lethal force, but a non-lethal force to prevent them from coming across. And for those who threw rocks, it was right for our Border Patrol agents to arrest them and even to use tear gas if that's what they needed to do to stop them from coming across.
Why is everyone, I agree with you. Why is everyone lying about this? Why is the DNC and all the people who work for them, Acosta and all the buffoons you see on television, why are they demanding that we not believe our eyes, that there's no caravan they're telling us, they would never hop the border, you're a racist if you think they're attacking us? Why are they lying to us, do you think?
Well, it's not for me to explain what they're saying. What I want to do is to talk about what is a sensible solution to this, which is the compromise that was reached in October between the U.S., Mexico.
The compromise is this. This is essential. This is a simple solution. We close the border. This is a simple solution. Stop letting people come across the border. That shit's over. It's over. Why the fuck do we need y'all over here? If y'all, listen, anybody, man. This country is your home. Sure, you may have a house inside this country. It's a big country, and I understand that. Do we have space for 7,000 people? Absolutely. Absolutely. But we don't have space for this 7,000 people. We don't have space for the 7,000 individuals or the 14,000 or whatever fucking thousand it is. We don't have space for them because they chose to march on our fucking borders like a fucking army and demand a fucking check. That's why. That's why. Everyone that got in that fucking caravan, every last one of them motherfuckers don't deserve to be here. I don't give a fuck who got their kids. I don't give a fuck who brought their kids. You don't even deserve to have the kids for those who brought their kids. Because who would have their kids travel thousands of fucking miles through 2 fucking countries in order to get to one that you're not even welcome at? You can't even tell me, everyone watching right now, you can't even tell me that if you had a family member you knew who was a blood relative but did not welcome you in their home, you can't tell me you would go pay them a visit, let alone with your hand out, asking them, can you stay there? You can't. Let me see, I think Owen's ready. Let me see, I think Owen's ready. Let me go ahead and go to close this up. This up. Yeah, I think Owen's haha, my fucking brother! What's up?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fucking fine, man.
Awesome.
How you in the fucking building? Real fucking Patriots stand up. First and foremost, usually I give all my guests, you know, their just due before I let people see them. But you're like, everybody's fucking going crazy right now. You like super fucking, yeah, you know. Hey, yo, listen, man. If this was the DC comic books, you would be like Nightwing, and I would be like not Hal Jordan. What's the Black Green Lantern? Or what's his name? Everybody know who I'm talking about. They love us, man. It's great, man. And first and foremost, people, I have Owen Shroyer in the building. This is my brother from another mother, and this is one white man. Even though he would never say it, I would always give him permission to say the N-word around me. One round of applause. Give him another one. Give him another one. Yeah. Yeah. We on that wolfpack shit, y'all.
The sheep, you got to catch the wolf. And it takes a wolf to catch a wolf. You understand?
Am I in the White House right now? Am I with you in the White House?
You're definitely with me in the White House right now, brother. We could have went to the Situation Room, but I'm like, you know what? Let's go to the White House. Let's just do it big.
I'm digging that. I like it when you go live from the White House.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Hey, yo, we want to tell you first, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for everything that you're doing. You know, you're a brave, bad motherfucker. I was telling them when we was in the Trump, it cost so much money to be in that motherfucker. They was trying to tell us be quiet. Like, shut up.
Yeah, I remember actually, you know, it's funny because we always fill up these bars. Like, I'll have people come to Austin and they'll all go fill up the bar, like 100 people in their Trump hat. And the bar manager that hates Trump will get mad and like, oh, you know, why you got to bring these people here? I'm like, I just brought you thousands of dollars of business and you're going to bitch about it? Like, seriously, man? So that's just where they're at. I'm not surprised by any of the hatred these days, but it's always a good time when the Trump supporters get a little rowdy.
So on the 4th and the 5th, Turner Point USA is flying some of us out that did go to help them out and attend the Young Black Leadership Summit. So we'll be going to Washington D.C. to get in their faces. You know, like to get on our Instagrams, to get in their faces.
When is that?
The 4th and the 5th. This coming week, bro.
Oh wow.
Yes, because they're trying to knock prison reform. They're trying to do everything they can to stop it. And this is the reason why I keep telling these dumb motherfuckers out there that don't pay attention to everything that's happening in front of them. Listen, there is no fucking Republican white man in any black neighborhood saying, yo, play that new motherfucking 6ix9ine shit. Only white people you see in the fucking ghetto are fucking liberals, dog. That's the only people that are trying to hold you back. The only people that are trying to vote to keep you fucked up. And when we get around each other, I'm talking about black individuals from the inner cities. When we get around conservative white men, we get along so fucking good because the values are exactly the same. I care about my family. I care about my country. I care about God. You know, and not in that order. You understand? Of course, it's God, family, country. But when everybody feels like this is how we feel, black guys are killing each other over streets. That's not really theirs. Do you understand?
Well, I look at a situation. I'm from St. Louis, and most of the city of St. Louis, the actual demographics, I think it's like 55% black people, and it's been run by Democrats for 50 years. and they continue to vote Democrat. And it's just like, okay, look at all the factories that are empty. Look at all the bottle works and all the different manufacturing plants that are empty. Look at the steel mills that used to be empty in Granite City, just on the ill side of the river. Well, now all of a sudden the steel mills are all working again, and there's steam coming out of the smokestacks, and people are getting jobs, and people are going to work. And it's like, that's what you want. But for some reason, the Democrats sit here and they play this victimology thing, and people just say, oh my gosh, somebody's trying to take away my prosperity or take away my future, when that's actually what the Democrats are doing by offering a handout to anybody, whether they're coming over from the southern border or they're coming from the ghetto in St. Louis. It's the same difference. It's offering somebody a handout and then making them a victim.
I'm going to tell you something right now. This is what's going on. At least I can speak for black Americans, right? They know that the problem is white people, and not like you know, try to say that the white people is the problem, but that's their mind state. You understand? And Democrats tell them this by triggering it and telling them,
right? So it's like George Bush bad, but George Bush bad because he's white guy.
Because he's white guy. You understand? Like, so this is what they do. So now. In black people's minds, they're already thinking this because for so long, this is how they've been triggered. You understand? Racist, slavery. Now what they're trying to do is they've tried to eliminate themselves from slavery, period. They wasn't telling people, oh, that's our statues we want to tear down, that Trump wants to keep up. Those are Confederate Democrat statues we want to take down. They're not telling people that. They're not telling people their history, but what they're giving them is the problems. They know that they exist because they're creating them. And then they're telling them, oh, it's not us, it's those white men over there. Those white men we've been telling you so long that are the racists to begin with. We're giving you a face. It's Donald Trump. He's responsible for it. Like, he's been in the inner city doing this shit to you for 30 fucking years. He hasn't. You understand? The people around you that's been doing it has been the politicians you've been voting for has been Democrats.
I really don't understand the virtue signaling white liberals. Like, most of these events I go to where someone will call me a racist, it's always a white liberal. I mean, you know, so it's like the strangest phenomenon.
You know what though?
That these,
you know what though? You know what though? White privilege doesn't exist, but it's only exclusive to white liberals. And let me explain to you why. Because they'll go to a black person and tell them you're a disgrace to your race. Like, everyone gave him an email like, hey, when you see Tony X, you make sure you tell him he's a disgrace to his race. Like, every black person sent them an email or a text message like, they're entitled. You understand? And when you talk to a white Republican, you never hear them feeling entitled. You hear them saying, I have to bust my ass, hurt my hands. I got to go work to make it happen, but I don't care because this is the American dream. Whereas liberals, soft-handed motherfuckers, you can tell when you're shaking their hand. Soft-handed motherfuckers. You shake their hands.
Soy boy.
Yeah, hands feel like baby ass, right? You see, you're sitting there, you're shaking your hand. You shake his hand too tight, he might wince on you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because he doesn't do anything. All he does is just speak. He talks to people and he takes from them and he takes from them. Most black people are conspiracy theorists. And the crazy thing is, I love Alex. First of all, make sure you tell Alex that I love him. We all love him. Everybody in the building loves Alex, all right? So make sure you tell him that. But I've been watching Alex for years, bro. I've been watching Alex since 2009. I got released 2009. I found Alex 2009. So that's how long I've been watching Alex Jones. So if I'm not the only black person, a black person put me on to Alex Jones.
But see, but you're hitting on something that's more at the base of this, and that's conspiracy theories. So like Alex Jones, they call him a conspiracy theorist or whatever.
Because every black person is a conspiracy theorist.
That's what I'm saying. Most black people would be called quote unquote conspiracy theorists, and there's actually a psychological like DNA reason for this, because most black people in their ancestry have obviously been mistreated by the government more recently than any white person. Most white people in America probably don't have it in their recent ancestry, what it's like to be mistreated by the government or even be a victim of racism. That's true. So most black people have that instinctual survival instinct because just a few generations ago, they were targeted and they have to be out there on alert. So they are conspiracy theorists because they're smart. That's what it is. And that's why they're so scared about Donald Trump and they try to make him a racist, because Trump's on that level.
I'm going to tell you who else, though. And they don't talk about him, bro. The Irish, the Italians, the Guineas. Every time the gypsies or however they want to, break them down. But when they came in the votes, the Democrats was on them. They was putting them to forced work in factories. That's how the first unions even first started, because they was enslaving white people and forcing them to vote Democrat. They had mobs of people. We seen the movie Gangs of New York, and that's portrayed on actual events that happened. So what's not? I keep telling people we have a beautiful country because we have an ugly history. And then the moment we come out with everything, who killed JFK? You know, once we get past, you know, everything that happened.
9/11.
Yeah, once we get past 9/11, once we get past everything that happened, the people will be able to heal, confront those who are responsible, remove them, and move forward. The idea now, like even with the Fed raising the rate, the reason why they're doing that is because this guy has brought this deficit down trillions of dollars, and he hasn't been boasting about it because he's not trying to shake things up. You understand? I'm smart enough to watch the numbers, though. I watch what he's doing, and the things that he's doing overseas, as far as these tariffs, is really paying back.
But I also think that the Fed knows it can't really collapse the U.S. dollar quite yet, and they're not into the next age where they can just switch everything over to the AI and make everything like social currency based, which is what they're trying to bring out of China.
That's why.
So Trump knows, like, I can basically, you know, make America rich as hell, and they can't collapse the dollar yet because they don't have their social currency AI system ready to go. It still needs, 5-10 years. I mean, they're rolling it all out right now in China, introducing it to Europe with the microchips. But they're not ready to bring it full on in the West yet.
They gave a prototype of the credit system with the Bitcoin. So I was explaining to the show, right? The Bitcoin, in order for it to exist, they have to allow it. Okay, because initially it was used for criminals to be able to procure shit from each other, and they would pay each other using this type of currency, which was digital currency. We all know who runs the internet. We know who runs the web. We know that the NSA can track anybody they want and look at anything that they want. Okay, so
yeah, say hi to the NSA.
Yeah,
they're watching.
Hi.
Hello, NSA.
Yeah, they're watching. Hey, you guys. So we know that they can track anything. You understand? So this currency exists because they allow it to. And now when people are looking at it, they have regular factories and they call it mining, where they're just building the machines up. And they call mining for Bitcoin. Somebody can go in there and blow that shit up, and then everyone loses their money. In 2007, it was millions of dollars lost through Bitcoin, and no one talks about it. No one talks about it because this was something they tried prior to before. So now that they have people more stupid, people are buying into it because they're like, hey, this is another form of currency, but people don't understand that this is something that they're going to collapse on purpose. This is something that...
Well, yeah, everybody can take advantage off of any smart person that's also a little gullible, that understands that the U.S. currency is bound to fail in its current position. And, of course, what was it ever really meant to do with the Fed other than just inflate until it explodes? But man, it's like, because to bring it back to what you were saying earlier, like the truth about JFK and 9/11 and how that's how America could really heal and come together, it'd be interesting to actually see that day. But, I think that deep down, at least myself personally, I felt like the greatest chance we ever had to find out any of that stuff was electing Donald Trump. Like he was a one of us kind of guy, at least open-minded, right? I mean, question 9/11, he actually declassified the JFK papers. I don't think any other president would have done that. So what do we find out? Yeah, we were lied to about the JFK assassination. So, but it's like, think about that though. That shows you how controlled, I mean, even me, nobody can help this, quite frankly, how controlled we all are by the corporate media, where we get the biggest bombshell, in American history. Really, you think about it, the biggest bombshell in American history, declassifying the JFK papers. What's it? Oh, the conspiracy theorists were right. JFK was killed. There were multiple shooters. The government lied about it. The media that worked for the government lied about it, and it all came out. And it just kind of gets released, and we read it, and it's just like, okay, put it back into the, the filing cabinet and, just stuff it away. And it's just like, whoa, wait a second. You're telling me no one's head is going to roll? You're telling me no one's going to be tried for treason? You're telling me we're not going to have military tribunals? You're telling me we're not going to have any grand juries on this? And it's just like, nope. Okay.
And then after that, in an age of information and factual information, a structure is hit by two fictitious aircrafts, look like military to me, look like drones, and then the structure burns, and then the structure burns for 3 years, being the longest burning human structure in history of man. Okay? For 3 years, the structure burned. Then a plane...
And a pit of lava at the bottom 2 years
yeah,
later.
Yeah, of thermite.
What?
Yeah.
Nanothermites that no one's ever even seen before.
Of nanothermite, yeah. And just so happens that prior to the buildings being hit, a crew of trucks were there to bring paint supplies in to paint the staircase and inside the elevator shafts.
And the security team working worked for Jeb Bush's security firm. I mean, dude, it's like. But let me ask you this: When did you first like decide 9/11, or we were lied to about 9/11? It took me till about 2013. I never really cared much or questioned it. But like, when did you first realize that it was a lie?
Okay, I was dealing with somebody, and she actually was pregnant for me, and I met her. The first job I had was a security job. I was working for Solomon, Smith & Barney on 34th between 8th and 9th. And I met this female. She was beautiful, but she was a lesbian. So I didn't think I had a chance. We was friends at first. Then we hit it off, and she became pregnant. We became engaged. She was working in...
This is quite an intro right here.
She was working in the World Trade Center. I'm serious. This is the whole story.
No, I know.
She was working in the World Trade Center. She died in the World Trade Center. When the buildings hit, we were on our way. They stopped us at the Brooklyn Bridge. Couldn't get off the bridge. So they made us walk. So we started walking across, but the dust was so bad that literally people were walking, their heads was, rocked open. They wouldn't let people get back across the bridge. So once you got across and you was on the Manhattan side on Canal Street, they wouldn't let anyone else go past Canal Street. They was telling you go back across the bridge. So after it happened, I caught my Fed case. But when it happened, I just felt like something was, off. So then I came home, and my brother said, "It's glad you're home. You got your ministry degree. Everything's good." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm feeling good." And then he puts this CD in front of me, and it's called Zeitgeist.
Yeah, Zeitgeist. Yeah.
And that fucked up my whole entire world. And when I mean I was fucked up, Because your head, you have to understand now that everything you thought you knew, you're wrong.
Well, and that's why I wanted to ask you, because it's the craziest thing where you can be, pretty much totally confident in something, right? Like, and it's just like, but once you figure it out, like 9/11 is the perfect example. It's like, oh yeah, conspiracy theorists. Oh yeah, multiple shooters, JFK. Oh yeah, sure, the government lied, like all that crap. But the moment where it becomes reality, it's so obvious. I think that's the biggest thing that really blows your mind. It's not that somebody would do that or get away with it. There's events like that in history. We know how corrupt humans can be. But it's the fact that it was always right there, always just right there in front of your face, screaming at you. And you were just like, no, I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. And then you finally hear it and see it, and you're like, oh my God, how did I not see that? And it's just like, what? How was I under that mind control? Like, how was I blinded? What the hell's going on here? So you start to like look at everything, and you're just like, whoa.
I was upset. I was mad. Like, I was mad.
Well, that's what I tell people. The side effect of the red pill. Would you agree the side effect of the red pill is about 12 months of rage and anger?
I'm gonna tell you, mine has been years of it because, with all jokes aside, for me, my hatred is, I feel like this shouldn't be a Democratic Party. I feel like this. You couldn't go to a Jewish person and ask him, hey, would you join the new Nazi party? They would say, fuck out of here, you crazy. It's three things could happen. Okay? They would walk away and curse you. They would stand in your face and curse you. Or you might get punched in the face. All right?
I was going to say, or you could be a death match.
Yeah, you could get punched in the face. You understand? So there's some badass Jewish brothers out there, right? So, but you can go to somebody from that era of the Nazi era and ask them, how was it besides the Jewish thing? And they'll say, well, it was nice. We had programs. We had your social programs. We had movie theaters. We had this. So for them, nice. The life was good. You understand? But you couldn't even go to a German now and ask them, would you join a new Nazi party? They would say no. They would say niet. They would say niet fast.
Yeah, totally disavowed. And it's like a shame in their history.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So why is it that the Democratic Party still exists knowing that they're responsible for the Civil War and slavery? Why are they allowed to exist knowing that they're the person who started the black codes, bombed Black Wall Street? Why are they? Listen, when people talk to me about the Republican Party, I tell them, you're saying what you're saying right now because the Republican Party got you free. If it wasn't
yeah, but
for
everything that you just mentioned, Black Wall Street and the Democrat Party in the history, it's never taught in any history books. I was never taught about the Democrat Party being the party behind the KKK after slavery was ended. I was never taught about Tulsa, Oklahoma, where Black Wall Street got burned to the ground. So these are things that you're never even taught. And so people just grow up ignorant. And by the time they're, in the workforce or whatever it is, they're already ignorant, not ill-educated. And then they just care about football and putting food on the table. So they're not going to look into any of that.
You know what? At the end of the day, I feel like it becomes a responsibility. If you're not really trying to learn what's going on, how can you protect your children? How can you protect yourself? And I make it a point to people. I tell them, look at the Lil Wayne situation. He's a multi-millionaire, right? There are people who would harm him, want to rob him, take the things that he had from him, and he had a legal firearm and was on his tour bus, which by all law, that tour bus is like his house. He has the rights of his house, at the same rights as his house as he does inside that carriage. This is the law. I don't make the law up. Okay, I'm the guy who goes by it. But somehow, when he gets to New York, instead of these people saying, hey, this is a legal, legitimate gun, you own it legally. We don't think you're going to kill someone. You understand? So we'll hold it here for you because you could have brought it to a precinct. Maybe you didn't know. It's okay. Maybe you forgot. But we'll hold it here for you. But in New York, they said no. Charge him because he doesn't have a felony. So now we can remove his right to even have the right to protect himself. This happens too often in inner cities. How is it that the states, which is illegal, the states are not supposed to introduce laws that hinder or circumvent the Constitution of the United States? So that's the reason why when you go to California, the DEA can still go to any dispensary and shut it down. They can lock everybody up. They can take all the weed away all they want because it's still, under federal law, it's still illegal. So the DEA can still go in and do that. So now, how is it that with the same breath, we have all of these same laws that exist, but they don't apply to the latter?
Well, it just shows you how ridiculous really it all is, which I think instinctually we can all tell that there's corruption because you hear about stuff like this. But that's a perfect example. I remember because I used to work in sports media. I mean, you'd cover at least one story a year, maybe even two, where a professional athlete gets busted for having an illegal firearm in his car, gets pulled over going too fast or, gets pulled over in the wrong neighborhood. And so, I've got my firearm on me because I'm worth millions of dollars. I'm a celebrity. People know I'm worth millions of dollars. I'm driving a $100,000 car. I'm a target. And, a lot of these people go home and they're in their fancy cars with their jewelry and everything. And some of their people that are from their home know they're in town. I mean, you know how this stuff goes down. I mean, it's a prime target. So you're thinking, hey, I got my firearm with me because I'm smart and I'm not about to get jacked here. And then, like you said, oh, I'm sorry, that's an illegal firearm. What are you talking about? What happened to the Second Amendment? What happened to the right to protect myself? Where you're basically just putting me out here as a sitting duck, and I'm gonna go downtown. And I'm just going to get jacked and I can't do anything about it because you took away my firearm. Oh, and by the way, now I'm going to jail just for having the survival instinct to try to protect myself.
My right to protect myself. And then they'll tell you, well, this is what the police is for. You're supposed to let police handle matters like that. The police, they don't stop the crimes from happening. They show up when you call them and tell them you've been robbed. You understand? They take a report from you. And that's it. Then that's it. This is not this is a joke. The whole thing is this so they can remove. Listen, I keep telling people, even because the chat is going crazy right now, and I keep telling people the only reason why they go for the guns is because unlike any other country, the citizens are armed. When Hitler was taking over the whole world, when he's on his quest to take over the world, first of all, he started because of eugenics. He got his ideas from the eugenics, but he definitely was going to take over the United States. But the reason why he was waiting, and the reason why him and Mussolini didn't just join together and do it at once from the very beginning, was because simply the citizens are armed. The citizens are armed. You land in a town, and it's highly plausible that the citizens have guns too. So,
but I mean, exactly. You look at any mass slaughter in human history, whether it's Mao Zedong's China, whether it's Hitler with the Jews, whether it's Pol Pot in Cambodia, every single one of them disarmed the population. Every single one of those leaders disarmed the population before killing millions of people. But for some reason, we just discount that. Nobody talks about that, and we just have this fancy unicorn idea that, oh, if we just turn all the guns in, it'll be, lollipops and rainbows, and there'll be no more criminals. And it's just like, you're insane. You maybe need to be put in a mental institution.
I just explained to them earlier today that a nuclear bomb weighs 2,400 pounds, and in 2015 it was 77,000.
And Eric Swalwell just threatened to use them on the American people.
He's an idiot. But that it was over 1 million pounds of drugs brought in. So I had to explain to him. Now, open borders. Who's to say that actual people who actually are terrorists wouldn't say, hey, let's break apart and dismantle this bomb and let's sneak it across and get it through the border? Because it's only 2,400 pounds. You understand? So, like, what people don't understand is, like, this shit leaves you vulnerable like a motherfucker. Like, to sit there and say, let everybody in, kumbaya, first of all, it's going to leave you broke. And I keep telling people, I was the first person I ever heard tell people, leave their doors open, put the sign outside, and then I started seeing other people say that shit, and telling people to do that, because that's what I hear. Okay, well, if you want them in for free, you want to let everybody in, open your door, keep your door open, and put a sign outside that says free food, sleep, eat, do what you want to do. So when somebody's walking by and smacking your wife in the ass, don't be upset because you're sharing, and sharing is caring. No one is going to do that. No one's going to do that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. No one's going to do that. Slap my wife in the ass.
Yeah, like no one's going to do that.
No, you got to be tolerant. I agree.
Yeah. If it's like having a fucking stranger come to your door with his bitch and his fucking kid, and if the snot-nosed little fucker sitting there beady eyes at you when you open the door, and then the guy standing there, and he's like, hey, I'm on hard times. Can you let us in? I know you don't know a stranger, but can you feed me, my family, and just do it indefinitely until I decide I want to get the fuck up out of here? No.
And he's got an MS-13 tattoo, a couple, tears and everything.
Yeah, and at the same time he's saying that, he probably got his hand behind his back with the fucking knife that he like to cut your fucking your head off with. I mean, people think
no, see, dude, this is racist now. Now we're being racist.
Man, you know what? Black people
But
can't
you know
be
what,
racist.
though?
That's what
Listen,
they say.
though, man. But here's the thing, though. Let's even go with what we're told, because your point on the border is even more ridiculous. They tell us, okay, the biggest terror event in the United States history, when the airplanes flew into the towers, and it's radical Islam that hates the West and hates America. Okay, whatever. So, and the final death toll is going to be about 20,000 people once the first responders and all the people who got cancer from whatever was in the air. So we're told that that's radical Islamic terrorists that were able to hijack planes, 4 of them, and fly them into buildings successfully, and attempted another one. And you're telling me that if they're willing to go through that length to kill 1,000 people, they won't try to slip across the wide open southern border with any type of dirty bomb, or 100 or 300 or 1,000 or 300,000? I mean, it's just basic logic that's just gone.
Yo, bro, this is my brother, people. I know the chat is lit right now. This is my brother, people. Listen, this is the same thing when I had an argument about the moon. People be like, we did go to the moon. I'd be like, so why we didn't go back? If the technology is better, everything's supposed to be better now, why haven't we gone back? And people are like, we have gone back. Maybe if we did go, maybe it's a satellite. Maybe it's not what you think it is, because you're not supposed to be able to see it if it's that far away in the first place. It shouldn't be that visible as it is if you get your camera and you look at it. Some people don't even do that. Some people just look at it regular. I got cameras. I look at that motherfucker.
Yeah, you look at the moon through a telescope. I mean, you can see the dust. I mean, it's like you're on the ground almost.
So my thing is, why haven't we been there again over and over and over again? When have you known us to stop? Once we've been somewhere, yeah, like...
Well, it's actually funny. I don't know. I don't really know your stances on this. This could be an interesting conversation to have, but it's funny because there was a woman. NASA landed a rover on Mars today. That is, if you believe that. I mean, I guess that could all be fake too. I'm not saying that couldn't be fake, but they said they landed a rover on Mars. And one of the ladies said, one of these NASA spokeswomen said, we need to be careful that we don't colonize Mars and that we treat Mars with respect, because humans have a tendency to colonize, and we don't want to do that to Mars. So there could actually be like this weird mindset. I'm just throwing this out there where they think, oh, we can't go back to the moon because we're bad and we might colonize it and we don't want that. Meanwhile, China's like, hey, we're going to put a space base on the moon and we're going to have a laser beam attached to it like Dr. Evil style.
I think that initially the moon landing was fake.
I agree with that 100%.
I think that there is,
or at least the video that we're seeing. That's fake.
That's fake. That's fake.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's accurate. And I think that if there was anything that happened with a visit there or even sending anything there, I think that they got clear reason why not to go back. You understand? Because there isn't a threat there. And that's the only thing I can think of. Because that's the only thing that would stop us from going there. Is if there's a threat that truly exists outside of what we can do to protect ourselves. You understand?
But of course, that's if we stopped going there.
That's if we stopped going there. I mean, right now the focus is on Mars, but why focus on Mars so far away when the moon is still so close? Why haven't we sent more rovers there? I'm not seeing footage or hearing footage about that. So for me, it's just like I'm just feeling like there could be somebody already there that's they shit. You understand? And they just like, hey, y'all can't send shit here because this our shit. Or maybe that could be a station that they come and they all rest at and they use that to ping pong from one area to another area. You understand what I mean? Because we know they exist. There was already a Space Force. Trump just came out and said,
"Oh yeah,
Space Force."
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we know that there are aliens. You be a dumbass to think that in all of the solar system and all of existence that somehow this planet is the only one that has intelligent life in it is beyond ridiculous. So we know that there's aliens out there, and we know because we have stuff like Area 51. They've been
and just other stuff, and it's kind of like taboo to say like aliens or stuff like that, but it's really just like it's just because sometimes I like to try to change the way I say things to get more people to listen. It's like there's just mysteries of space. There's the unknown. I mean, there are UFOs. There's obviously something else out there. Like I said, the odds of us being the only intelligent life in the entire universe are probably pretty slim. So, there's mysteries. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means there's green people walking around or, spirits in other dimensions. I just know there's mysteries to this universe. But that's the sad thing too. Isn't that like the basic dehumanization when they tell us we weren't created? I mean, that's the most root level dehumanization to say you're no better than a monkey. You're no better than anything else that's evolved from pond scum. I mean, that's like the basic dehumanization.
They don't break down the math. They don't break down the math that if we evolved from monkeys, why haven't they evolved with us? How is it that we just shut the fuck off and took off and now we're better than monkeys? Like, it doesn't make any sense, bro.
Yeah, how come we can build, we're in the middle of building like nuclear rockets and there isn't any other species of life out there that even has mastered a wheel?
But yet we get compared to them. And the reason why they do that is because they don't want you to continue to pray. They don't want you to continue to find salvation. They don't want you to continue to believe. They don't want you to continue to want to be free. They want you to be little puppets where you go by day to day. We say it here all the time. The government is not supposed to control you. You're supposed to control your government. But yet how they have the liberals, how liberals have liberals. They have them thinking as if the government is daddy. Like, it's going to do everything for you and it's going to protect you when the government doesn't exist and it doesn't have money without you. It's a pimp and a whore, prostitute and a pimp. It's the same game. There's no difference. It's just that the liberals have a bunch of whores, just millions of whores, just voting for them, like unbeknownst that they're giving up their time, their money, their resources to get nothing done. To hear absolutely nothing. If the Democrats was really really trying to go at Trump and he was really racist, they would have tried to put every kind of comprehensive bill in front of him so he could get it denied. So they could prove that he's really trying to defeat progress, and he's really trying to be against the nation. If Donald Trump was really a racist, they would have told Kanye, go see him. Because we already know what he's like. So you're going to find out for yourself. They wouldn't have been like,
they tried to stop it.
They wouldn't have been like, don't go see him. How dare he went to go sit down with him? How could he sit down with him? The reason why he sat down with him is because he has the right to, but they didn't want him to have that right because they didn't want him to realize that the man's not a racist.
Well, it's obviously ridiculous that they try to paint Trump as a racist, and it takes somebody with an IQ of 2. I mean, I guess that's why the average CNN host can't figure this out, I suppose. It's not a CIA agent. That Trump has received awards. He was friends with Rosa Parks, Muhammad Ali. I mean, the list goes on
Mike
and on.
Tyson,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Shaquille O'Neal.
It's ridiculous.
Tupac. Before Snoop Dogg sold an asshole, he was loving the Trump. He was on the Trump train. Man, Jesse Jackson stole millions of dollars from him in procurement of that fuck ass Rainbow Coalition bullshit that he started, and the person who funded 60 to 70% of that shit was Donald
the
J.
Reverend.
Trump. And
the Reverend. If he's a Reverend, I'm an astronaut. I'm going to Mars.
He's not no fucking Reverend. The same way Reverend Al Sharpton, he's not a Reverend either. He started out as a fucking road manager for Aretha Franklin or some shit like that. He can't even fucking read, bro. Give that fucker a Harry. Give that nigga a Harry Potter book and watch him sit there. He said R-E-S-P-I-C.
Oh, whoa, come on. Let's start off with like Dr. Seuss or something.
Like my friend Aretha Franklin said, give me some R-I-R-E-S-I-P-I-C-T.
That's actually some of the best content on YouTube. The Washington Free Beacon, Al Sharpton versus the teleprompter. There's like 5 different versions because he can't read. I mean, the guy can't read.
He cannot read.
And then what do they say? It was on CNN. They say, oh, yes, Kanye West is what happens when a black person, oh, no, I'm sorry, a Negro doesn't know how to read. But then there's Reverend Al Jackson on TV every night, and he can't read.
They need to put it in Dr. Seuss and Dr. Seuss words for him. They let him write it. So when he write what? He write W-A-T.
Or W-U-T, exactly. And they need to give like double space in between each word too, because when the words kind of get a little close, he gets a little confused.
He gets fucked up. He gets fucked up with his big wobble head. And then I break down his whole fake ass Instagram. 100,000 followers, bro, but he doesn't have 10,000 views on a video. Yo, listen. There's no way in the world of numbers could that add up. You have 100,000 followers. Yet you don't even have 10,000 likes on a picture. You don't have 10,000 views on a video. Come on, dog. It's fake.
Who would follow that? That guy's he's like a walking corpse. He looks like he should be in the next Mummy or something.
He looked like somebody old ass auntie that got a mustache that won't cut it.
Oh yeah, for real though. Like 98 years old on the rocking chair. Like you know what I'm saying? Man. Like that skin's like way back.
That bitch Maxine looked like the Crypt Keeper. We call that bitch Maxie Pad Waters on this show. That bitch looked like the Crypt Keeper with a fucking wig on her head.
I just feel bad for James Brown, man. He's been looking for his wig for like 2 years now, and he's a little old. He's confused. He can't find it.
Nah, she took it when he died. He passed away.
I know, and he's literally floating around Earth, just like where's my wig?
Still looking for it. And that bitch is still screaming the same.
She ripped it off his head in the casket. She went and.
It does look like his wig though. It does look straight like his hair.
She walked into the wig master. She walked into the wig master and said, "Give me the James Brown.
Give me the James Brown. Give me shit." Because she got the nasty neck. She always got like beads on her neck, and she went in there.
God,
give me the James Brown. Went in there real quick. Her neck is disgusting. Her fucking face look like a fucking dog. I can't believe.
Can you imagine? This is Maxine Waters' average day though. Like she gets up. Probably takes her like an hour to get out of bed and like, do whatever she's got to do. And then she has to powder her bald head so she can put her wig on. And then she has to put all of her makeup on so she looks presentable. This is like a 4-hour process before she can even get out the door. And so then she walks into Congress for like 5 minutes and does a TV interview and says something on the floor and then goes home and has to wash it all off and polish her dome, and that's like her day right there.
And that's her whole day. They tell me to stop. They tell me not to say it, but I'ma say it. Impeach him. That bitch need to just die already. She got like one layup left for her in the first place. She got one more yawn early in the morning. She got one bad stretch in that motherfucker, and it's over.
She's a shame to the city of St. Louis. It's an embarrassment that she's from St. Louis.
I can't understand how these people are so old and still so evil and greedy. It's not like you can go to the beach and enjoy your money, fuck beautiful women.
But you know what that is, dude? You know what that is, bro? Because this is actually honestly, you know what that is? These people are trapped, man. These people are high criminals. When you're that big of a criminal, you can't stop. You can't, man.
Yeah, because then it's out. It's over. That's why Hillary keeps showing her face. That's why she keeps showing her face. But you know what? In the long run, I'm glad she does that because black people really hate Hillary Clinton. Black people really hate Hillary Clinton. They didn't come vote for her. They would have came out to vote for her. She would have won the election. She would have won. They didn't come vote for her. They didn't come out. You ask black people, they'll be like, I don't like Trump, but they'll be like, I won't vote because my vote don't count. So the Democrats aren't getting the votes. They're not going to get the votes. Black people hate, especially after Haiti, black people hate Hillary Clinton with the crime bill. And when people talk to me, I'll be like, oh yeah, she was in office for how long with Barack Obama? 6 years she was under him? 6 years she was with him and she did nothing to help on prison reform? This nigga went to the jail, visited the jail, and did nothing on prison reform? Nothing at all. And he was there for 8 years. 8 fucking years. They talk about how there's a systematic, racist enterprise at foot with the prison system, but somehow they can't get prison reform done, so it stopped. And
well, I think too, though, I think that because of this happening right now, the average black person that voted Democrat just because they voted Democrat and that's what they thought they had to vote or whatever is seeing what the Democrats are doing and the committed to Hillary Clinton and the hate for Donald Trump and then the hate on the prison reform bill and everything else. And so they're just like, okay, well, I'm not a Democrat anymore. This doesn't mean I'm Republican or I support Trump, but I'm not a Democrat. So the Democrats see this and they know all the internal numbers. I mean, all the polls that you see on television are pretty much fake. They know the internal numbers. So the Democrat Party is sitting here panicked because they know that the black vote that they relied on for all of these years is gone. So they're saying, oh my gosh, we got to bring in 1 million people across the southern border now. And we got to do it now. And so that's why I think there's this push in desperation before 2020. Because I don't think it matters. Trump is going to win in 2020. I don't see anyone beating Donald Trump. I mean, they'd have to have 20 million fake votes, I think, to beat Donald Trump in 2020. And they'll try, but 20 million fake votes.
I think what needs to happen is, I think that from now on, you need to show identification when you go vote.
Yeah, well, it's apparently that's racist, but I feel like assuming it's racist is actually racist.
Now, that I believe, brother. But currently, personally with me, I believe the only people that are racist and that are in a racist system are liberal Democrats. I honestly believe that even when you talk to white Republicans that scream white power, I honestly in my heart believe that they have every right to feel that way, just like every black person has the right to feel like there's black power. Because it can't be one without the other. And the thing is, the moment we start respecting each other for what we bring to the table, if we just sit down, the Voltron would be so fucking fatal. It would be so fatal if all the races, the Hispanics, and I'm talking about, we all know that everyone has pride and everyone has a strength and everything, and you're great in one way in everything that you do. Hey, listen, you admit it. You become men. You sit at the table, you sit there, you man spread, and you say, listen, you guys, you guys are great at killing shit. And we need to get that training from you guys. You understand? Like, we need to get that training from you guys. You understand? Like, hey, you guys are great at you guys are great at maintaining muscle and you have, great athleticism. Can you show us the things you do, the things you eat? How these are the things that we need to sit down and discuss with one another because this is how we become better. You understand? Better as a country, better as men, better as a nation. And what they want us to do is they want us to believe that somehow I can't accept that there is a Hispanic pride or power, or there is a Chinese pride or power, or there's a black pride or power, or a white pride or power. Why can you not be prideful in your ethnicity? If you honestly, it defines you in some sort of way. You're supposed to be proud of it. It's supposed to empower you. So I'm not going to take that away from anybody. And I don't allow people to do that on this show either. I break it down and explain to them how important it is to allow them to let them have it. But make sure that if they're uneducated on who you are, you educate them. Hey, listen, you may have thought that every last one of us is fucked up, but bro, that's not the case. You understand? Like, you know, and when people sit and they listen. Trust me, I've drove through Tennessee, I've drove through Alabama, I bailed out of Alabama 2 times. All right? So I've been there around, you know, a lot of good white brothers who necessarily didn't want to trust a lot of black people because some have been robbed by some friends been robbed by some. And their whole initial reaction to you is like, I don't really know if I want to do business with you, man. Because I don't know. But when they talk to you and you talk to them like, damn, you know, I kind of had it all wrong, bro. I drive through. You go through Tennessee. You see the Confederate flags. And at first, when it first happened, I felt the way. But then driving through that shit the 40th time, I realized, even before that, the 20th time I realized that person has pride in whatever heritage it is. And I don't know what their persons or their family did. So I can't be upset at the way people, you know what I mean? Like how they.
Well, yeah, but look at what, I mean, if you just look at, let's say like black entertainment or MTV, and what is it? Well, if there's any racism that people want to point to and say, oh my gosh, you know, this is causing people to hate me because of my skin color. Well, let's look at Hollywood or MTV when they always present the black man as the bad guy, as the gangster, as the carjacker. Where are all the movies where the black guy is a proud, family guy?
Where BT, where the woman is a stripper or she's a home wrecker.
What happened to exactly? What happened to the likes of like Miles Davis and Sammy Davis Jr.? I mean, these were the people that used to make black culture, and then it turned into Jay-Z and Snoop Dogg.
Hey, yo, you know
but what? It doesn't even. But the point is, it's not even necessarily that it's like culture in like what people want to do with their time. It's the messaging. You know what I'm saying? It's the messaging that they want to put out there, like, oh yeah, oh look, if you're growing up black in the city, you have to be a rapper or you have to be an athlete. It's like that's not true at all. You can literally be anything you want.
And I tell my nephew, he's probably watching right now. If he doesn't have anything to do in the morning, but like I tell my nephew, he's going to be a cop because you can't complain about being black or being oppressed or anything like that. You're not trying to change it. You understand? And I don't want to teach a bunch of black guys to don't talk to police and don't be friendly with them because you may need them one day. That's first and foremost. You understand? That's first and foremost. You may need them one day. So,
and how about just for a little perspective too? I mean, a lot of people may hate the police and then do a night ride with them and have their eyes open and be like, "Whoa."
That's what I'm saying. You may need them one day. You may need them one day. You may be driving. You may be with your uncle. He may start having a heart attack, and you see a cop coming. You stop him. The cop helps you, gives you the ride right to the hospital. He has the sirens. He can get you there. It's not just about calling because someone robbed you or someone hurt you. These guys are actually good fucking people. So you can't just put everyone in a nutshell and be like, oh, they're all the same. No.
And and that's the messaging. So what happens? Anytime there's a white cop that does anything to a black cop or a black person, it becomes the number 1 story. Even though there's police brutality every day, police brutality to white people, Mexican people.
But there's more police brutality and murders on white men in this country than anyone else. And I'm going to say it, and anyone can prove me different. I'm going to send you $50. But I'm telling you right now, the numbers exist. I got my chat going. The numbers exist, right? And the numbers don't lie. That white men are killed and assaulted more by police officers than any other race. And the reason why they don't show is because during Barack Obama's administration, they enacted something called white guilt. They like when
and I know that you're good for that because we made a bet at Trump Bar that night that you were actually the first black man behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office.
That's right. I'm the first nigga behind the Oval Office.
That's right. And I said that I bet you were, and you said, well, what about Obama? And you paid up. You bought the whole bar around the shots, and so he's good for that check. So if you prove him wrong, he'll cut that check.
But as the numbers is, and I swear on my stock roll for anybody who's going to tune in to Game of Thrones to get away from all the evils of the world, I swear on this. White men Y'all have it so fucked up, I feel bad for you. And it's some real shit. 400 years ago, some fucked up shit happened. But let's move 400 years ahead. Still fucked up shit is happening to everybody. And they're blaming a bunch of white men for shit that happened 400 years ago when these white men weren't even no one even knew they was going to be here. No one here now know. You understand? Like 400 years ago. And to still have you guys being blamed for it. But then this is what makes it worse. You have white men claiming that you're racist when you're not.
It's mostly white men, man. It's mostly white men. And I mean, it's just like, I don't know what the problem with these people are.
All liberal women. All of them are, all them bitches need to be thrown in the dumpster. Stupid ass Cortez. This bitch is stupid. How the fuck are you running? How the fuck do you win a Senate seat but you can't afford to get an apartment? And this is what I tell people. I'm like, she has the fucking GoFundMe so you can give her an apartment. But this bitch is supposed to have good credit. With all the millionaires' friends she's supposed to have, no one would loan her cash to start an apartment, or no one would let her stay there until she starts at her job and she gets her first check and she can move. Why is it that this bitch needs you to pay for her housing? No one's fucking thinking at all. Period. No one's thinking, bro. No one is thinking, bro. I honestly feel like people are. I think that they just stole a lot of elections. I think that, and they try to do it again in Florida. I think that people are thinking, and I think that they're stealing a lot of elections. I don't think that there's as many Democrats as people actually think it is. I think that they're actually just stealing fucking elections left and right. That shit that happened.
I agree totally, and they're going to try to steal the runoff election in Mississippi tomorrow too. So the Democrats are going to try to steal a congressional seat from a woman. That's how much they love women. So it just goes to show you how fake they are. But hey, man, I loved coming on with you tonight. I'm going to come back on sometime.
My guys love you. Yo, Owen's got to go, everybody. Brother, I fucking love you to death. You know I got your back. We go out, you know what I'm saying, Rolex to Rolex, dawn to dawn.
Hey, we don't need to be flexing on air here. I'm in my scrubs. I just got out of the shower.
I got a lot of people from the town in here. They need to know that my guy gets fly, man. You feel me? He puts it on. We had it looking right when we was in DC together, man. Shout out to my brother, man. Yo, I
know that your Oval Office keeps it loose, so I came on with my waffle tea today.
Nah, we good money, you know, man. Yo, thank you for tuning in, man. I'ma holler at you, brother.
All right, hey, it's always a pleasure, man. We'll talk soon.
All right. Yo, it was great having my brother on, man. Excellent having him on. Great show. We just got to get our shit off. It's great being here, people. Even though YouTube be hating on my shit. And they be shadow banning me like a motherfucker. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We will have this show dropping early in the afternoon, the time it's supposed to. 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you're able to tune in, make sure you tune in. Hopefully tomorrow you meet me here at this time, because I should be having Kaya Jones on the show from the Pussycat Dolls. I know I've been saying I'm going to have her on the show, but hopefully tomorrow I'll have her on the show, and I'll keep you tuned. So if you'll see it, you'll know, but you should see it early. But shout out to my brother Owen, man. Owen is the truth, people. You see him out there, man. In people's faces, unafraid. There's nothing more real than that. And, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due, man. That's a real motherfucker right there, man. All right? That's a real motherfucker right there, man. If he was a gangbanger, he'd be OG of a set. That's how much work that this guy's put in, man. Like, a ton of respect for him. And, you know, we had a great conversation. And I'm going to tell you again, brother, I'm prepared for whatever comes. It's going to come. It's going to happen. But I'm not afraid, and I'm not going to stop. And I'm not going to let anybody proposition me to sell anybody out. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay American. And I want to tell my wife that I love her. And only her. I can never think about anybody else. And I'm thankful that you took this journey with me. I appreciate you for being here for me when I'm sick, when I'm happy, when people are saying mean things about me. You're always there to make sure that I'm feeling okay. I love the shit out of you. And I want to thank you for tuning in too with your sexy ass. See you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay American. Fuck the other side, bitch. We don't care.